Hey, we're in Lead Trainer with Stocks Trading, Tim Bohen here. Today we're going to be talking about debunking common trading myths and how to set the record straight for success. So today, listen, there's a lot of myths out there around trading, and it trips up so many new traders, especially unrealistic expectations. I think that's like when we talk about the high failure rate. I'm sure you've heard 90% fail, etc. And I think that there's a lot of reasons that feed into that, but I always think one of the biggest reasons is simply just unrealistic expectations. And at the end of the day, I almost think that sometimes, and don't hate me for this, but sometimes I wish trading would almost be a little less accessible. Think about driving a car, okay? If you don't have training, if you don't have licensing, if you don't drive with somebody showing you what to do, probably really bad things are going to happen. Now, really bad things, you could still have the world-class driving education and bad things could still happen. But there's a value to certifications. I'm flat out, listen, probably most of you know I'm a gun owner, okay? I'm a big fan. I go to training a couple times a year, okay? I go to shooting schools. I go to the range, okay? Having a firearm is bad things can happen, but I'm a big believer in training and knowing how to use that tool, same as a car. Listen, with trading, nobody will stop you, okay? Robinhood, you can start trading literally today. You don't even have to wait to fund your account. You just submit the ACH and they'll give you fake money to trade today. It's crazy, okay? You got a smartphone and $500 and fire away. So I wish it was a little less accessible. But that being said, because of the unrealistic expectations, they're fed by a lot of these myths. Number one is trading is easy, okay? Now listen, at the end of the day, trading is easy. It's like you click a mouse or click on your phone, buy 1,000 shares, submit, easy peasy, right? But it's not the mechanics are easy. It's just clicking a mouse or tapping a button. But what goes into making a good decision and finding a good trade is not easy, okay? So as always with social media, it's a double-edged sword. I like social media because it gets people interested in markets. It sees the potential. You can look at a chart and see, oh man, I see what he did here. But the bummer is so many people are posting these huge gains, and odds are, again, I'm not putting down anybody's trading or their social media, but if you see somebody making $100,000 on a day trade, you may not, as a newbie, you may not realize that they might have a $5 million account, okay? You might not realize that they have been trading for a decade, okay? Where, you don't realize that. Like this guy, the account size and the buying power and the experience. So I wish it wasn't construed that way, but it is. It's not easy, but it's worth it, okay? I sold my company a decade ago. It's been the best decade of my life since then. I've made more money in trading and mentoring than I did in the business for 15 years. It's rewarding, but it takes a lot of work. Have the right mindset. The other one that drives me nuts, the more complex the strategy, the better. And keep in mind, I'm not going to put down options. I'm not going to put down long, short hedges or any of this stuff. But so many of these trading strategies are designed for big hedge funds. They're called a hedge fund for a reason. They're trying to manage the risk because they're trading billions of shares. And listen, if you're trying to trade black skulls or iron condors or whatever, and you can't even make money buying a $1 stock and selling it at $1.20, listen, focus on going long first, even short selling. Listen, I love short selling, even though I pick on short sellers on social media. Short selling is an amazing strategy, but it's very confusing for new traders. You got to borrow the stock, you sell it, then you buy it, you get paid locate fees, all this stuff. It's confusing. Learn how to trade on the long side, get consistent, then add more tools to your tool chest. But as a small account, new trader, just looking to go long, simple, keep it simple, momentum stocks with catalysts, float rotation, etc. Also understand that this kind of goes back to the fact that 100% win rates, and you'll get this conception of successful traders are always right. Goes back to social media. A lot of guys will post losses, and I respect that, but you'll see a lot. That's the exception. The norm is you won't hear from these guys on social media for 3-4 days, and then there's this huge win. That's great, and hopefully you can learn from that, but you got to understand that there was probably some losses in between, and losing is part of trading. Like there's no reason to hide a loss because no one's ever had a 100% win rate. No one ever will have a 100% win rate. It's no different than sports. Like no one's ever not struck out. No one's ever not missed a basket. But if you focus on the best setups and managing your risk, those losses can be great lessons. Like I've said this before, and I've heard other trading mentors say it. You got two options. You either learn or you earn. Okay? Don't hide your losses. Don't run from your losses. Figure out what you did wrong. If get something from that $500 loss. Get an education. Don't do it again. Next thing is that trading is just gambling, and it's what angers me. Listen, the roulette wheel, you're just putting some money on black and you're hoping for the best, okay? Now, flat out, a lot of traders approach trading that way. They see some guy mention a ticker on Twitter and they're like, just buy it and hopefully it goes up. Now, what you're going to do, if you follow the channel, okay, you're going to learn that trading is about successful trading, consistently profitable trading, is about maximizing your probabilities, okay? The roulette wheel, you're just spinning it, you hope for the best. What we do in day trading and swing trading and even investing is we go through a detailed process to look at things that have worked in the past, things that are currently working, news that's driving stocks, chart patterns that are driving stocks, volume, things that have happened yesterday that worked, and we look to repeat those today. Now, if you have a random process, you're just gambling. But if you have a process, no matter how rudimentary, always be refining it, but if you're stepping through criteria that have worked in the past, you're not gambling. Now, you're risking money, okay? You can say, well, Tim, you're risking $100 and maybe it goes up, maybe it goes down. But with trading, if you're going through a process and sticking to that process, you will be rewarded over time because of the fact that it is an actual process and not random, okay? Next is that you need a lot of money to start trading. I actually think the exact opposite, okay? I think that even if you, like I've talked to newer traders and maybe they sold the business or they've retired or they got a trust fund and they got a little bit of money and they've never traded before. They're like, hey, Tim, I'm gonna put 200 grand in my trading account. I'm like, no. I'm like, please don't, okay? You know nothing at this point, okay? What I want you to do is show me that you can make money with a $2,000 account, okay? Because if you can't make it with $2,000 account, all you're gonna do with that 200 grand account is lose a boatload of money. So if you're gonna blow up an account, which would you rather blow up? Would you rather blow up a $2,000 account or a $200,000 account? So I actually think the constraints are a good thing. And listen, flat out, I'm sure you're on the channel because you have a small account. Now, full disclosure, are you gonna buy a mansion this year day trading with a small account? No. Are you gonna buy a Lambo this year? No. But what you can do this year is learn how to trade, okay? Your number one goal as a new trader is to learn how to trade, okay? And that's what everybody overlooks. They want the Lambos, they want the yachts, they want the mansions, and they never learn how to trade. Focus on the process, okay? Next thing is that people think they can predict the market, and that's why I always say we don't anticipate, we react, okay? One of the biggest things you're trying to do is not play guessing games. Just riding momentum. Okay? Look to ride momentum on hot sector stocks with float rotation and catalysts and chart patterns, okay? And don't look for home runs. Don't try and squeak out every penny from the move. Have realistic goals and realistic expectations and ride the wave, okay? Like, I think it's kind of a corny analogy. I don't know if I've ever used it before. I think a lot of new traders are out there trying to create the wave, like trying to somehow get these stocks to do something. When we're talking day and swing trading, you're just hopping on. It's like the kid on a skateboard grabbing the back of a car, okay? You ride that momentum and you take small gains. Don't anticipate, react, okay? Next is, and this trips up a lot of traders, sitting there all day. Listen, there are specifically defined better times of the day. You hear me talk about buy-in pre, sell-in pre. That's a strategy we use in pre-market. You'll hear me talk about the 9:45 window. That's our way to avoid the market open shakeout. You'll hear the 2 p.m. window, after hours runners. There are specific times of the day that are higher probability where stocks are less choppy and more directional. And what happens is you have some good success early in the day because you follow the buy-in pre, sell-in pre, or the 9:45 rule, and then it kind of goes into midday, there's not much going on, and you boredom trade and you get back all your gains. Focus on the best times of the day. When I talk about the best times of the day, we go over that every single day in the daily income trader system. I'll put a link below. I'm live at 8:30 Eastern. Bryce Tuohy's live at 9:30 Eastern. I'm live at noon. Matt Monaco is live at 10:30 at night. Like, you have guidance all through the day going over these setups and the best times to trade. And the cool thing is these webinars are 6 times a day, even on weekends, and they're 100% free. Check out the Daily Income Trader System.